Great. Well, hello everyone. My name is Paris Safshordi, and I'm here with Naheed Gilani. It's very good to be speaking with you, Naheed, today. And the topic of our conversation is sustainable investing. I reached out to Naheed a few weeks ago because I myself was interested in investing, and am a sustainability advocate and have studied sustainable development. And I've been curious to see how people like me can practice investing while also making social impact toward environmental and social justice. Naheed, I have your bio, but I let you introduce yourself before we get started.
Hello, Paris, and thanks for initiating this important discussion, and thanks to all of you who are tuning in. We are looking to do a very short format because we know that there's enough 30-minute and 1-hour videos out there. We want to hit on some really important points relating to responsible investing and investing in general. So I'll tell you a bit about myself and why I think you reached out to me to have this conversation. As an investment professional with about 15 years of experience throughout the financial industry, I've got a really large passion for impact investing and understanding that interplay between business and society and the environment. In terms of the technical side, I've completed my Chartered Financial Analyst designation and my Certified Financial Planner designation, and really like to be involved with social justice and activism. And I think that corporations have a big role to play in getting us onto a better path.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot, Naheed. So let's get started. So we said the topic of this video is about sustainable investing. So Naheed, can you kind of introduce us to what sustainable investing really means?
Sure. Well, a lot of the terms in this part of the investing industry are interchangeable, but a lot aren't. And when I think sustainable investing, I often think of responsible investing. And
Sorry, I have
others.
my nephew here. Sorry.
Oh, hi there.
Hi. Want to say hi? No? Okay. All right. Sorry to.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
no, that's fine. I think responsible investing and sustainable investing are generally interchangeable. Uh, when we think about sustainable investing, we want to look at ways in which we can invest in corporations that are looking at more than just profits. So we often think of triple bottom line, and we think of people, planet, profit, and we think about ESG, which is one of the most famous acronyms that really got into the limelight in the COVID investing era, and it seems to be really sticking now. And I've been looking at some of these things since around 2007, 2008, when I got my certificate in socially responsible investing. But basically, ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. And it is believed, and there are a lot of studies on this, that corporations who pay a lot of attention to those three areas will outperform and will draw more investment capital. And certainly with younger investors who are really concerned with where we're headed as a species, as a society, they're paying particular attention to that. So today we'll talk a little bit about what to look for and what it all means, and does it actually have an impact?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And can you basically kind of walk us through how individuals themselves can practice this method of investing that is sustainable while also making a profit from their investment?
Sure. Well, this is a really important question because people don't know where to start. And of course, being the founder of Conscious Wealth, everything I do is to enable and empower investors to feel like they can get advice without any sales. So At Conscious Wealth, we do not offer any products. There's no application forms because we don't manage any money. We strictly help people understand what are the tools out there and how can you leverage these tools to improve the financial situation for you and your family, with a goal to help people obtain financial independence sooner so they can do what they really want with their lives. Now, a lot of our audience is probably already doing that, and that's incredible. I know for myself, I've worked in the financial industry a long time, and there was always that kind of gap between purpose and personal profit, you know, where I had to uh, make a lot of personal sacrifices in order to earn a good salary. And now I've really flipped the table and really want to focus on helping people with their investing. So to get to your question, we have to think firstly, are we sustainable? Are we talking about corporate sustainability or our own? So when we think of our own sustainability, we often know what are the key factors. Number of children we have, how much we travel by air, how our diet impacts the environment. Obviously, being plant-based is one of the most impactful and beneficial, in terms of our ecological footprints. But a lot of these factors are looked at with corporations in a different lens. So, when we're looking at the sustainability of a corporation and we get into ESG factors, well, there's a lot of products out there that already filter and screen for these things. So on the environment side, we might be looking at emissions. We might be looking at, full life cycle of their product. Does it end up in landfills? Do they have, some sense of responsibility for how that product is used throughout that life? We think about wastewater, and we think about social factors such as how employees are treated. When we think of governance factors, we think about diversity, we think about gender, who's on the board, what is the, and this is probably a social factor as well, what is the gap between the average worker and the executives? And we know that that gap since probably 1980 has widened tremendously. And this is cause for great concern because we have to then ask, is society sustainable? So are we sustainable? Are corporations sustainable? And then the most important question, is society sustainable? And we know here in Canada, if everyone lived like us around the world, we would need probably 5 planets. That's unfortunately even worse where we are, where I am at least in Calgary and in Alberta, because we tend to have vehicles and we need a lot of heating in the winter, and we just have an overall high quality of life. So, you can make a profit investing with a sustainable lens. In fact, I would argue that over time, you'd make more profit. And the reason is you try to avoid things like the BP Deepwater Horizon Gulf oil spill, that disaster. You can try to avoid the Union Carbide disaster in Bhopal many
By
decades ago.
using your power of investments.
Right, by finding investments that either do the screening for you to avoid companies that are really controversial or in certain detrimental sectors, or by picking those companies yourself, which is more challenging. And as one's portfolio gets larger, you can do your own screening. But we're also talking about avoiding companies that might have been implicated in the Rana Plaza disaster in Bangladesh, by looking at companies that are not relying on packaging materials that come from old growth forests, by buying food that does not rely on tearing down the rainforest. So my lens and my filters for sustainable investing can go a lot deeper, I find, than what's available. But as the demand increases for these products, companies are increasingly responding with options. Now, this is a big part of what we do at Conscious Wealth. We help people actually look at the fact sheets issued by the investment manufacturers, the companies that
Sorry, if
make the
I may
products.
interject, just
Sure, yeah.
just to introduce our audience to Conscious Wealth. Naheed has started his social venture a few years ago with a partner that does investment advising for individuals. So yeah, go ahead. I just wanted them to know
Sure.
what conscious wealth is as you're explaining that.
Yeah, so conscious wealth is a culmination of all that experience in the conventional financial industry and realizing we needed to bridge the gap. We needed to offer a solution that would leverage the fintech, the financial technology, and all the tools that have developed rapidly in the last 5 years, I would argue. So there's a new ecosystem available to investors who are ready to do a little bit of the work themselves. Now, we do have a portfolio manager partner who can help actually deploy the strategies for people who don't feel comfortable carrying out the actions. And a lot of what we do is actually help people learn and then actually show them how to do the investing themselves. And there's different middle grounds. So you can either do it all yourself, or you can find a robo advisor, which helps do it for you, or you can, get a portfolio manager such as the one we partner with to carry out all those trades. And when you use the portfolio manager, it's a whole slew of additional services that come with the service. So it's an overall integrated kind of value proposition. And usually, that's not for clients just starting out because there are certain minimums. Now, traditionally in the industry, the minimum required, and I know this is scary, would be $1 million to get true fiduciary portfolio manager services.
Wow.
And we really know that's not fair. So the portfolio manager I work with has fractions of that required. And then I don't have any minimums. I work with people where they're at in their investing life, and whatever platform you're using, I can work with them.
Great, thank you. So it sounds like there's kind of a lot of services that you offer, and you're offering services to people from different experiences in their investing. But like, if we could kind of briefly, I know we want to keep this very short, but then like in terms of like go through like go a bit deeper briefly into kind of the first steps of investing, kind of if someone's kind of brand new to investing, like myself, what are the things they need to consider to see if investing is an option for them?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people want to invest because their friends are investing or the bank told them they're supposed to, but you have to be at the right stage to do it. Now, there's a saying, which is that the best time to invest is today. Often people hesitate to invest because they wanted to last year and they think they missed the boat. Well, the reality is economies grow over time, at least up till now. And, we have to think about how can we grow our wealth while we're going to work or going to school or whatever it might be. And so the starting point is to say, do I have funds that I don't need for 3 to 5 years? And even if I don't necessarily know the answer to that question, well, what I would say is that if someone is working, but also has things like student debt, you should always try, if possible, to at least put a little bit aside each month, because maybe when you start investing 3 years from now or 5 years from now, once your student debt is paid off, or once your mortgage is a bit lower, making you more comfortable, will the opportunities in the market still be there? Well, again, markets go up over time, but why I think it's really important to be investing today is because we've passed a lot of major hurdles. We've got vaccines for COVID, so the markets have really shifted since November 2020. We had the US election where we have a US leader who there's still some controversy over, but he believes in the importance of acting on climate. So we also have massive stimulus going into the economy, which means that if we can get a little bit of our money participating, is very good. So I'll give 3 rules for new investors. Number 1 is you need to invest regularly. So that connects to what we just discussed. And why we do that is because we all do better when we have systems and routines and discipline. And no matter how busy you are, you can set up a plan to automatically be putting the money aside into an investment while you're living your life. So investing regularly. The second rule is keep your fees low. And that is really first and foremost of what I do at Conscious Wealth. And even the portfolio manager I work with has the lowest fees I've seen. In fact, they're preposterously low. And I think that it's an absolute steal relative to what investors get. Um, the third rule is to diversify properly, and unfortunately, a lot of investors get an idea from their neighbor, or they read a news article, and they have a discount brokerage account or some kind of account, and they just put a few $100s in and they play around. Well, you should always start by building your foundation. So you don't buy art and dishes without having the foundation on your house, and you want to have the roof in place, and then you can start getting a little bit creative if you so choose. So diversifying properly generally means having a mix of stocks and bonds. Stocks are considered the risky investment group. Bonds are generally considered the safe investment group, but there are a lot of exceptions there. So don't think that, bonds, you can just go out and buy them. You need to do a little research. And then within stocks, diversifying properly would usually mean you have some Canadian stocks, some US stocks, and some international stocks. And the reason for this is if you put all your money in Canada, we know that Canada has a lot of exposure to natural resources. So we want to make sure that if the economy is not doing well, you have exposure to industries in the US and Europe, like healthcare and consumer industries. So those are the three rules, and you just have to decide how much you can put aside every 2 weeks or every month, and then we go from there.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. There's a lot that I can think we can follow up on, but we are kind of out of time, and we promised this wouldn't go over than 15 minutes. So things that I think we should talk more next time that our audience might be also interested in is kind of basically what Naheed started talking about, kind of digging more into the kind of the first steps of investing for beginners, and also how could individuals identify the sustainability indicators of their stocks, as well as what I'm curious about is investing for local businesses. How does that play into the fact that how can you support local while also make a profit from your investments? And lastly, I'm really curious about cryptocurrency. I don't know if that's something we should talk about or not, but I'm putting it out there. That's one thing that I'm very curious about. And of course, ESG, we already talked about it, but there's a lot more that we should talk about. We just kind of, Naheed just had to briefly introduce it, and there's kind of a whole session we can contribute to it. And also, Naheed, what else what else do you think we can talk about in the next time that we will meet that I missed?
Well, those are great topics. I'd be happy to bring information on those to our audience and our viewers, but we also open it up to anyone watching. Let us know what you'd like to learn about, and we are more than happy to get into that topic. If you prefer, a live format where you can do, Q&A, I have had every single question asked of me, and I've seen so many situations of, people's finances, and just love being challenged. So, whether it's, the basics of taxation, or, cannabis stocks, anything like that, we can touch on it. Of course, we're not here to give specific investment advice, but we're here to educate and empower, again, with the goal of helping people achieve financial independence sooner, so that they can then have the impact they want on their society and on their communities and on the planet. So, with that, I thank everyone for the time, and I don't know if Paris has any last words, but I'm looking forward to further conversations, and really wanting to ensure that you feel confident when you deploy your funds. We've seen over the years too many bad investments, too many so-called experts, and we'd really like to make sure people know what they're getting into when they put their hard-earned money to work.
Wonderfully said. Thank you so much, Naheed. I just wanted to say, if you are curious about Naheed's social venture that we talked about. It's consciouswealth.ca, as well as a Facebook group that I know he's started, where he's been dedicating it to educating interested investors. That's with the same name on Facebook. So feel free to kind of to check those out, or reach us to us directly with questions or suggestions for next videos. Wonderful.
Yeah, and the Facebook group is there's a few, but the one that I would encourage people to join is the Conscious Wealth community, because participants pose their own questions, and then we crowdsource the answers. Different people with experience with that topic might chime in, and then I would moderate and add my perspective. So there's some good learning there. We have, I think, over 100 members, and you don't have to worry. We don't post, too frequently. But if somebody's stuck, if they're buying a property, they're moving countries, there's always financial questions that get asked, and so we try to help people with those interesting questions. So Conscious Wealth Community on Facebook, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Very well. Thank you very much. See you next time.
All right, bye-bye.